risk factors for preventable chronic diseases are tobacco use, lack of physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. The risk factors have caused unpreventable and preventable diseases like disability and death. To reduce these risk factors, prevent diseases or injury before it ever occurs, reduce the impact of a disease or injury that has already occurred, soften the impact of an ongoing illness or injury that has lasting effects. We all need to invest our time and money in improving healthy lifestyle behaviors by increasing physical activity and improving our diet. By doing this, almost 35% of early deaths will be avoided. Our integrative nutrition health specialist, Betty Olayinka-Folari Akinlosotu, aka BOFA, advocates for this every Sunday on Health Corner and Nutrition segments showing on Healthy Living with BOFA channel, where she also features professionals on interview with expert segments. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. U.S. time, 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, 8 p.m. South African time. See you there.
Okay, let's get started. I'm Betsy Olayinka-Folari Akinlosotu, an inspiring wellness advocate coming to you live on YouTube channel. On our interview with expert today, I'm in the segment that called Interview with Expert. It's about women, about your wife, your girlfriends, sisters, aunties, your cousins, nieces, mothers, and so on. So show some love and invite them all to the show today, to this moment we've all been waiting for. I mean the show that inspire, educate, and sensitize on wellness. Also, don't forget to share this video, click on comment, put your question there for our guests. We are more than ready to answer all the questions you have going on in your mind today. I bet you will enjoy this show. It is going to be so exciting, going to be so interactive and educating. Trust me, as usual. Now, today's show is going to look feminine. When it comes to challenges facing women and girls, we begin to focus on financial exclusion, limited educational opportunities, insufficient access to sanitation facilities, limited access to land and safe shelter, low agricultural productivity, poor medical care, and access to health information. Does that mean that men do not face same challenges? No, men do face same challenges. In fact, in some countries, men face more of these challenges than women. I tell you that, and I can prove it. So today, we are not focusing on general challenges. We are focusing on the major issues, challenges that most affect women. On the global front, perhaps, the most important issue for the international community is empowering the voices of women. Right now, women and young girls everywhere face an immense range of challenges, from sexism and gender bias, domestic violence, cheating, teen pregnancy, to employment, to the threats of gender-based violence. Women are involved in all parts of society, but some matters affect the tough women more than others. Let's take a look at a few major issues that modern women and girls face today. I tell you today, these issues have caused millions of women mental health problems. Let's discuss this after the break, while we bring you our guests on the show to answer all the questions we have for her today relating to the issues that affect women in the society today. So sit up, After this break, we will bring our guests on the show. All right, welcome back to the show, to the segment we've all been anxious, anticipating to see. To purge out all our mind, all that is going on in our mind right there. And I'm sure you have one or two questions to share with us. And for that reason, I want to tell you to please put your comment, your questions, anything you feel like you want to talk about. Please, especially if you are women on this show, please do me a favor. Take your pen and paper and write all your questions that you have for our guests today. It is very important we talk about what is going on in our society, especially issues that affect women today. When it comes to issues that affect our health, we take it seriously. Not only women, men also take it seriously. So today, we want to take a look at the issues that most affect our women in the society. Okay, before I introduce to you who my guest is, I'd like to introduce her officially to tell you a little bit about our guest. It is very important. And this is to show that we don't just bring anybody from the street to our show. We bring experts, professionals, people that have experience in what we are doing on the show. I mean, when it comes to wellness, it's about living well in all areas of life. There's no doubt about it, and you can't rule that out. And people think anything that has to do with wellness is about food on our table or the absence of illness. No, it's more than that. We want to live well in all areas of life that we live today. Let me introduce to you our guests on the show on Interview with Expert. We have on the show today, Mrs. Lilian Okonkwo-Ogabu. Mrs. Okonkwo is a broadcast journalist with River State Television, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. She is a TV producer and a presenter. Mrs. Okonkwo has degrees in English journalism. She is a member of many organizations, including Women in Peace and Security Network, River State. She had served as a secretary. She has served as the chairperson for Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, River State chapter. And currently, she serves as the deputy national president of Nigeria Association of Women Journalists. Mrs. Okonkwo-Ogabu, you're welcome on the show today.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
That is the woman I'm talking about. My beautiful, sexy, adorable, intelligent, smart woman is on the show today. And I'm sure, and more than sure, that you are ready for her. Please, once again, put your comment, your question right below this video. We have answers to all. Right now, my sister, Mrs. Okonkwo, there are many issues affecting women, yourself, myself, our girls, our mothers, our sisters, nieces, cousins, sister-in-laws, out there in this society we have today. But I want us to focus on the major issues, and these include sexism and gender bias, domestic violence, cheating, and teen pregnancy. We have thousands of things that affect women, and some of them also affect men. So we really want to focus on the issue, the challenges that most affect our women today in our society. What are the myths surrounding all these issues, and how can we enable women who have experienced this problem to access their right and rebuild their lives?
Well, let me start by appreciating you for a beautiful program you have here, because women are a set of people, or the gender, that should be sensitized based on the fact that, for me, I think they are a disadvantaged group, and they need to know that. They need to be sensitized. They need to be talked to up their game. Just like you said, there are a whole lot of issues affecting women in the society. I'll take it from my background, Africa, Nigeria. In my part of the world, in this climate, talking about Nigeria, you find out that our culture is such that inhibits the woman in several areas, or in many areas. There are many don'ts for the woman from our cultural background. We come from a patriarchal society, a society where, for me, is a man's world. And so there is need for what you are doing, reaching out to the women, trying to, sensitize them, trying to educate them. Because when you do this, it gives a whole lot of people hope, a whole lot of women hope, especially those who believe that, I'm a woman, there's no need doing this or doing that. So let me appreciate you for what you are doing. And I hope that many women key into this, to improve their life, to help them push much further than they are doing. Now, talking about issues affecting women, we have issues of domestic violence. We have the issues of abuse. When you talk about domestic violence, you have issues of abuse. You have issues of child marriage. You have issues of, you talked about sexism. Yes. Take an instance. A young girl that is working so hard making her money, the very moment she hires a flat or she's driving a car, why would she do that? They begin to term you, in quotes, ashawo. How did she get all that money? But for a man, a man can do all that. Build a skyscraper is accepted. These are the issues affecting women in our society and lots more. We have issues of child marriage, issues of child labor. If you come to our streets, you see a whole lot of young little children hawking when they ought to be in school. During school hours, you see them with plantain and banana on their head. And this makes them vulnerable to abuse. This makes them vulnerable, to issues of rape. You understand me? This makes them vulnerable. So these are the issues affecting women, the girl child women in our society. And for what you're doing, I think it's about time we become more intentional, on some of these issues. It's about time, we do more. Well, in this part of the country, in Nigeria, in this part of the world, rather, Africa, I know a whole lot of NGOs doing a whole lot, but it's not yet Uhuru. We need to do more.
Now, you mentioned so many things that affect women, and some of them are what I said we're going to focus on. And right now, I want us to talk about the sexism. It is very important we talk about it. Do you believe that this sexism and gender bias can lead to sexual violence? And how can this issue, this problem, foster sexual harassment, rape, and other form of sexual violence.
Okay. Yes, of course, I believe that. I believe that sexism does that. Why do I say so? Taking a look at our environment here, a situation where a man feels supreme, a situation where a man feels he's stronger, you know, he's in charge. Of course, when you feel that you are in charge, when you feel that you are stronger, there's every tendency to oppress the other. So what am I talking about? Yes, the African man or the Nigerian man believes the world is his. You know, he's in charge, he's leading, he's ahead. And so it makes it easy for him to take advantage of the female gender. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
He believes I am stronger. The society puts me ahead. The society puts me first. So I get what I want and I do what I want. Of course, when you know that you are in charge, when you know that you are first, when you know that you are leading, the tendency to do what you like is there. So I think that is the issue with, you know, the men around us. They believe that the culture of patriarchy puts them first. The culture of patriarchy in Africa, you know, has made them to be in charge. And so they can do what they want. And believe me, they oftentimes do what they want and go away with it.
Yes, that's true. You're right. Now, let's talk about relationship. And this it's a very important issue that we must look into in today's, you know, world. Now, on the personal relationship front, cheating is an issue to everybody, either to men or women. Why it's often not discussed outside of the home or a group of, you know, close friends, it is a concern for many women. Though often it's understandable. We understand that cheating is is forbidden for both of us. But when men do this, we don't have issue more unlike women. What are the underlying factors that make men and women cheat? We want to put them together before we now focus on women. You understand? And how do we stop this, especially among women?
Let me start. Okay, generally, I think that's a lack of fulfillment, you know, with your partner. But most times, in the case of men, I think is a game for them. For me, yeah, I think it's a game. But there's something I want to talk about here, my darling Betty. There's a song by Rebecca Jr. that I like a lot. I don't have the voice to sing, but I'll pass the message. He says, a woman needs love just like you do. I'm sure you will know the song. Don't fool yourself into thinking that she don't. What am I saying? A woman needs love just like the man. You understand? So in this part, or in many parts of the world, it's believed that the woman should make the home, attend to the man, care, like we say, the women are caregivers. You understand me? Women are caregivers. Whoever told you that the woman doesn't need care? Whoever told you that the woman doesn't need love? You know, but you see, you put it, a whole lot of it on the woman. I was arguing with somebody. I said, how come in our climb, marriage relationship that is between two people, you put the burden on a particular person? We are two in a business. We are two in a deal. And at the end of the day, the society puts the success of that deal, the success of that business on one human being. It is very, very wrong. Now talking about cheating, I'll still tell you the reason why the men cheat is because they think they've got the world. It's their world. You understand me? They are in charge. Sometimes they will tell you, the man can marry 3, 4, 5 wives. Can the woman do that? I've had a whole lot of instances like that. Then let me be personal now. When I got married in my early days, you know, I caught my husband cheating. Yeah, I caught my husband cheating. And somehow my mom came visiting and I was like squeezing my face and talking about it. Can you believe what my mom said? Is he not feeding you? Did he bring the woman home? You understand? Why bother yourself? He's not bringing it home. But I said, emotionally, I am affected. You understand what I'm saying? Emotionally, I am affected. You see, when you do these things to men, oh, hell gets loose.
Everyone lose.
Yeah. Yeah, but we know it's wrong. It's wrong. It's biblically wrong. It's wrong. But then, sometimes, like you asked, why would somebody do that? We've had cases of people who marry a woman, maybe somewhere abroad in US or in UK. You marry a woman, you keep her in Nigeria. From January to December, you don't get to see her. What do you expect? In this part, they will tell you, body no be firewood. And come to think of it, for you, the man that is over there, are you just there not doing anything? We are all human beings. You understand me? Yes. It's okay for the man because, it's okay for the man because he's a man. But believe me, the same flesh and blood that the man is made of is also the same flesh and blood for the woman. So what am I saying? When two people are in a relationship to it, they do otherwise. I don't know if you get me. Yeah, two of them should commit. The man needs love, the woman needs love. They both need care. They both need that love. And so when you think you are the man, the woman should sit at home and you roam the street. God forbid you get her, it's over. That is how it is done here. But she gets you, some men will say, if I catch her, she go. If she catch me, she go. I'm sure you've had such
yes,
before.
Of course.
It's a terrible one. Yeah, it's a terrible one for the woman. It ought not to be so. For me, when two people are in a relationship, in a marriage, they should both commit to it. That is it. Why do people cheat? It is because they are not both committed to it. One person feels, I've had women to say, if you do, I go do. That's an advanced slang. But it's wrong anyway. So how do we stop this? Let us be both committed to what we have agreed. That's it.
Good. I like that. Commitment. That's the key word. I'm loving it now. Now, I have a question coming up from my WhatsApp, and it says that, why do men pay attention to this, why do men get emotional, behave badly, and become unforgivable the moment they find out or caught their wives or their women cheating?
Sis, the man is in charge. The man is the boss. The man has been ordained from Adam to take the lead. Why compete with him? He bruises his ego. His ego is bruised. Why would he share his woman with another person? Why would he do that? And why would you imitate him? He is in charge. He's his woman. So, and then this side, they will tell you, he paid the price. He took his people to come to your place. He paid the price, somehow he don't buy you. So why would you do that to him? So they get their ego bruised. Of course, no man would want to share. Even you, the woman, no woman wants to share his man. And then why would the almighty man share his woman?
I've had some men, when I argue that, why do you guys go crazy when you caught your wife cheating? And some men would tell me, well, sometimes we don't understand what the relationship or the marriage, entails. When you go to the registry, do you sign a contract that says that, okay, it's going to be me and you forever. I'm not going to have another woman, or I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to die because of you. Do you sign that agreement? If that agreement is signed, then bring it whenever I bring woman home to take me to court that I must not marry. Now, I want you to talk to that. Let's have your own.
Can I say something at this point?
Go ahead.
You see, when everybody, the Bible says, for me, I'm a Christian, the Bible says that every man's ways is right before his own eyes. Of course, when you catch a man cheating, he must say something. You understand? So that is just it. If you get somebody, if you catch a thief, he will have something to tell you. So that is it. So those are flimsy excuses. Those are just flimsy excuses. He has to say something to get away with his exploits. So it's not a good reason. And like I said, he also feels he's in charge. He also feels he's the man. He also feels he's the boss. So he can do what he likes.
And you cannot.
And you cannot.
And don't you think,
well,
if
let
we
me
look
now, some will even tell you, I pay the bills. You understand me? Especially in cases where the women are not doing anything, or not financially stable, or not committing, helping out financially. The man will tell you, I pay the bills, so I'm in charge. After all, he who pays the piper, it takes the tune. So I pay the bill, I feed you, and I provide for you. So you do what I say.
Wow.
So talking about the things they say, they just have to say something to cover up whatever illicit relationship they are in.
Now, don't you think that if that happens in a relationship, I mean, in marriage, let's say we want to focus on marriage now, because relationship could mean that girlfriend and boyfriend with fiancé and fiance and stuff. We want to focus on legally marriage home now. Don't you think that it will really affect women, most women in this situation, if they know that they are so much incapacitated to do so many things like paying the rent, they are not contributing to the finances that go on, expenses that go on in the house. So these make the woman so under men, like they are not independent, right? That's fine, but we don't look at the emotional trauma that comes after. If I'm limited to certain things to do in the house, or because my husband is the head of the family, and meanwhile, he promised to be there for me, no other woman, and this and that. And eventually, maybe nothing goes wrong. He just decides to start, cheating and stuff like that. We don't know what really goes wrong for men to do that, but I know there must be reason for any man that cheat, that, go after another woman. There must be reasons, and many reasons I want us to discuss. I want us to discuss. This is what I want us to focus on, because women cry, we talk, and we never looked at the reason why our men cheat. Because now we look at the area that, okay, it's me and you, nobody else. What have you been doing in the house before that really make your husband to see you as no one? And later something changed, all of a sudden something changed in the house and make your husband look outside for another woman. Why don't we sit down as a woman and look and x-ray our lives and see maybe something goes wrong? Because women, we're not looking at that. We're just making noises all over the places that, oh, my husband is keeping another woman, so I'm going to do the same thing, which is totally wrong, like you said. I agree. Wrong. I will not support that. We support some women, they don't sit down. You are slim before, maybe that's what your husband likes. And at the end of the day, you eat and overeat. And at the end of the day, you gain weight. And your husband don't like that. Instead of telling you to leave the house or tell you to just move out of the room and stuff like that, you just decide to go for another woman that looks like the same way you look when he first married you. So I want you to talk about it, to tell our women, educate them things they need to do, that their men will not look outside and still look at them as the same person they married in the first place.
Okay, let me, before I will say this, does any woman ever, say, this man is not looking the way I met him? Don't worry, I will talk about what you want. How come it's the men that are always, talking about the way we look? At some point, they also look the way we don't like. Well, however, I'll come to, what you have talked about. For me, I always tell people, it's not about getting married. What are you bringing to the table? I want to marry. What are you bringing to the table? Is it about just getting into that house? not doing anything? Is it about some, we have stories of women hunting for men who are made. It's even worse. Because you go in there and you are not contributing anything. You are only collecting. That puts you, in many cases, not in all cases anyway, but in many cases, that puts you little. It makes you a lesser being. And you lose some respect. So for me, there is the need for every woman to contribute to the family. As you're getting into that marriage, you need to bring something to the table. I am not wishing anybody bad. Well, you find I've had cases, when you were introducing me, you said Deputy National President of Women Journalists. Yeah, before then, I was the chairperson of women journalists in Rivers State. And believe me, I saw a whole lot. You see a man wake up someday and tell a woman she's been married to for about 20 or 25 years or thereabout, and say, I don't want this relationship again. I'm no longer in love with you. I'm taking on another person, maybe a younger person. And believe me, the woman cannot even afford a day's rent. You know why? Because all she has done is just that marriage, not doing anything. Some are working, and then the man will say, I don't want my wife to work. Without putting up a fight, they leave the job. And the man takes care of the family, and someday he's tired. And he says, I'm tired. I don't want to continue with this. The woman is helpless. The woman is hopeless. And before I continue, let me also say these are emotional violence. Emotional violence. The most times we talk about domestic violence, abuse, and I think it's even more. Emotional violence is more.
More killing than.
When you tell a woman, I've had cases where a medical doctor, the husband says, you're not going to practice medicine. Stay in the house, I'll pay you salary. That is traumatizing. You understand? It's emotional violence. It is not only when you hit a woman that is violent. Sometimes the woman wants to do things, you don't want her to do it because you think you are the husband. I am your husband. What I say is what you do. And because of what the society will say, the woman remains there. She's emotionally down. That is violence. And so for me, I want to encourage every woman there, especially the young ones that are getting married now. Make sure you're bringing something to the table. And for us as mothers, please train up your girl child, to be well educated. Not just because in recent time you just have a whole lot of women. Then they look for man. They are looking for man that will marry them and keep them in the house. My dear, danger is lurking around the corner. You need to be something to earn your respect before the man. You need to be something. You need to earn your respect in that marriage. You need to contribute in that marriage. You need to do something to have self-prestige in that marriage. You need to bring something to the table. I ask many women when I talk with them, and so especially some of them, I'm Mrs. And one day I ask somebody, if they take away this Mrs., lights out. If they take away this Mrs., who are you? If the Mrs. is stripped up from you, who are you? Please, let's not just rely on this Mrs. It's good to be married. I'm a married woman with 4 children. I have 3 girls, and I teach them, to be self-reliant. It's not about depending on a man and depending on marriage. No, that is not how it ought to be. So when they take off that Mrs. from you, who are you? I ask many women, that's the question, the lead question today. When they take away Mrs. from you, if a man gets up one day and takes off that Mrs. from you, who are you and what can you do?
Wow. Wow, you just mentioned teaching our children. And that will take us to teen pregnancy. I want us to take a look at that. A related issue for women is reality of teen pregnancy. I want us to know that. It has always been a concern, and good news is that teen pregnancy rate has now been steady declined. Now, how can we stop the cause or the causes of teens pregnancy? And do you think this is possible to stop it?
Of course, it is very, very possible.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is we need to do more. Yeah, we need to be more. Well, when we talk about the cause, I think for me, poverty is one of them. You know, people giving birth to children they cannot take care of. We have some persons say, God give Pekin, you know. Sorry, I'm using a slang from this.
It's okay, go ahead.
You know, and so they give birth to the number of children they cannot take care of. You know what I mean by that? They just have children they will not be able to take care of. Because you find out that this teenage pregnancy, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, or even middle take care of, they cannot handle it. And so in that case, rescue some girls. Why? Because they're trying to provide for themselves. That is one of the reasons. And then for some of them, they just want to explore. You understand me? They just want to explore. At that age, they want to explore. So these are some of the reasons. But for me, you talked about how do we handle it? We need to be intentional. Yeah, we need to be intentional from the home point of view. You know, yes, we talk about you teach them to abstain, but for me, you can sit a girl child down to tell her the implication, the implication of getting involved in sex, the result, and then you can ask if it comes up this way, what do you do? If you end up with a pregnancy, what do you do? You understand what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. So let's teach them. And let's tell them the implication from our homes, you know, let's teach them. And then apart from the ones that are done mistakenly, and as teenagers too, they want to explore, especially in this time of the social media. A whole lot of things are put out there. You know, they get to see a whole lot of things. Yeah. You understand me? Looking so fanciful. And so they also want to explore. But what we can do as parents, as women, is to reach out to them from the home. Talk to them, teach them the implication. Let them know that, look, if you're in school, because I used to tell, I have 3 girls myself. I have 3 girls. The one is married now. So in my time, I used to tell them that, look, if you get pregnant, the boy will continue, the boy will move on, and then you will stay at home. And you will stay at home to nurse a baby. And believe me, at the end of the day, he wouldn't come back to you. He will continue with girls that have made it. He will continue with girls that are a whole lot better. He will not come to you who left school, you know, nothing. Yes, he will not come to you a school dropout. So when you let them know these things, let them know the implication. And then sometimes you tell them medically, you know, medically, it's not also healthy for you to do. And then, apart from the home, organizations need to take up this. I've been involved in, I've been involved with organizations, going to schools to teach, going to schools like to run campaigns, sensitization, you know, non-governmental organizations, NGOs. You go to schools and then teach them sex education, teach them the implication, and of course tell them that all that glitters in this world of social media is not gold.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Lilian Okonkwo-Ogabu, for coming on the show today. We want to say thank you for taking your time to be with us and enlightening us on the issue that affects us, women, and our team in the society today. Thank you so much. Viewers, we want to go on a break now to bring you in, health talk and nutrition. So we want you to sit up, and while we bring you this segment. I have to let our guests go now. So when we return, it's our health and nutrition segment. Stay tuned. Hey, last week, what do we talk about? We talked about diarrhea last week. And today we're talking about mental health issues that affect women. Mental health issues that are more common in women. And what are these mental issues? The first one I'm going to talk about before our time takes us off the screen is depression. Depression is number one. Women go through significant biological changes across their lifespan. This is what I want you to know. More so than men. This happens more so than men. So these cyclic shifts can disrupt, malfunction, or create disease such as hormonal flux. Hormonal flux in particular can wreak havoc on women's mental health. These hormones we are talking about plays a significant role around the time of childbirth, which has resulted in terms like postpartum blues and postpartum depression. Women can also develop premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD. You can call it PMDD. These symptoms of PMDD are similar to major depressive disorder. Take note of that. In case you are having symptoms of depression, you can as well be having symptoms of premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And you won't know until you see the specialist that will let you know what exactly goes wrong with you. Social issue also comes into play as we are raised to internalize our thoughts and feelings compared to men who are encouraged to shake things off and thought it out. We were taught to be mindful. Women were taught to be mindful about our thoughts and feelings, not to mention our appearance, internalized styles of coping with distress. This linked to greater mental illness. Our men can internalize, but we are not raised to do so. Because we talk, we tell our story every day, what is going on in our mind. That had more injury to what we are going through emotionally. Because not everybody out there will tell you the truth. Not everybody there that will tell you the solution to it. Some will even have more problems to what you are going through. So this is one of the things that can cause depression. They can cause mental problem when it comes to things that goes on around us. So social issue is one of it. There are also environmental or cultural factors, including the fact that women still tend to bear the brunt of the housework and caregiving and maintaining the family social schedule, even if we work full-time outside the home. The environmental and cultural factor also count in this. When you go through depression, it might probably be caused by environmental or cultural factors. We also tend to earn less than our male counterpart, which can cause financial strain that can lead to feeling anxious, depressed, or hopeless. If we are not already overwhelmed with guilt that is from being away from our children while working, this 1-2 punch of stress and guilt can contribute to or worsen depression. Take note of that. Not everything at all you want to put your mind in. Let go some things so that you can be free from all this depression we are talking about this morning. Women also live longer than men on average. So we have more opportunity to experience bereavement and loneliness, which of course contribute to depression. Yes, somebody said it to me yesterday that women live longer. Yes, we live longer to mourn our husband, our fathers, and so on. So this is another way of having depression going on in our lives. Another mental issue I want to talk about is anxiety. And this I want to talk about, listen and listen. I'm not the one that says this. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, says that from puberty through age 50, women are more than twice as likely as men to develop an anxiety disorder, with its symptoms, of course, increase worrying, tension, exhaustion, and fear. Again, so many factors come into play, including socio-cultural norms and stress strokes. So you want to look at this as a very important when it comes to social and cultural norms. Our lives are so much out there in a social world, on social media, everywhere. And when you hear something that bothers your mind from this particular platform, it becomes a depression. Anxiety falls in place for us. So we have to be very careful. Biology also play a role too, of course. And researchers are increasingly looking at the effects of this, I call estradiol. It's a primary gonadal hormone in women. It is thought to mediate or to be responsible for some of the sex differences observed in psychiatric disorder. Another mental issue I want to talk about is post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. This is common. We have it going on in the world today. In fact, the statistics mention that the rate of the people, especially women that have PTSD, are going on more than usual right now. And this is the reason why we want to look at this area as a very essential and important issue that we need to slow it down. It's a type of PTSD, is a type of anxiety disorder, a class of issues that also includes panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, phobias, and separation anxiety disorder. These are all in one. And that is why you're going to be diagnosed to be a post-traumatic stress disorder patient. It's not that women have more traumatic experience in general, but we do tend to have more of certain types of trauma, such as sexual abuse and assault, which are, of course, associated with great risk of PTSD. So we want to look into this as a very serious case. Once you have this, medication can help. You will be on medication, it will help some, but you'll be on it for the rest of your life. So it is better you take it slow, you don't go into this trauma before you start looking for help. Anything that goes on in your marriage, tell it to God. That's what I'm going to say. Don't tell it to anybody. Live with it. If you can live with it, fine. If you cannot, exit. Exit the marriage that is giving you unhealthy lifestyle. We don't need it. I'm not saying divorce. You can separate. You can do so many things that make your life easy for you. Because once you get into this traumatic situation, you can't get out of it. Trust me. Another thing is eating disorder, and that will take us to our nutrition segment. Eating disorder is another mental issue, and this is a nutritional issue that we need to look at today. But before we go into nutrition tips, let me give you some information on eating disorder. Although eating disorder do afflict some men, in fact, you see some men you want to say, oh no, I can't go for, like me, there's some men that I cannot even date. I can't even date, I can't marry them because of the way they look. Why? What is the problem with that? Because of the way they eat, and you see it right in them. Some are genetic, but trust me, I can't. Although eating disorder affects women, men, some men, they are generally considered women diseases, if you want to know, because we eat more than men. And for some reason, we eat more than men. Or because we are not controlling ourselves, our mouth. Whatever goes in our mouth, that is why we're having a problem. Now, what are the things that we can do to avoid this, to control this eating habit? One of the most common type of eating disorder is called binge eating disorder. This is more prevalent than anoxerias and bulimans combined. Yes, it is. So what you do is this. You want to make sure that, trust me, this is what I'm going to say is very important. And you have to do it with caution. That's what I'm going to say. With dedication. First of all, I want everyone watching right now to know, to understand that there is no magic diet that fixes depression. The good idea is to watch what you eat. So some people overeat and gain weight when they are depressed. Getting in control of your eating will help you feel much more better. This is what you need. Just eat healthy and control your food portion. That's all. Although this is much definite. Evidence shows that. Evidence shows that it's definite. But let me tell you this. There's some things you can do with food, and there's certain food that you can eat that will help your depression. Food like omega-3 fatty acids, such as salmon and tuna, and folic acid from your spinach and avocado. This could help ease depression, according to the evidence gathered by the scientists. So you want to experiment on those food during depression. Fatty acid food, omega-3 fatty acid, you clearly get from fish, from flaxseed, flaxseed oil, walnuts, and some other foods. You want to exercise too, and that is very important. When something is going on in your brain, in your mind, you want to quickly go and start exercising. Start exercising to ease yourself. Exercise temporarily boosts feel-good chemical called endorphins. So practice your daily or do exercise regularly. Again, at least 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. You also want to do little sleep. You want to sleep. You want to get enough sleep. Don't sleep too much, just get enough sleep. You want to do psychological counseling, psychotherapy is very important. You want to take responsibility when you are depressed. You want to pull back from life and give up your responsibility at home and at work. Don't do that. Staying involved and having daily responsibility can help you maintain a lifestyle that can help you counter depression. So you want to do something that will make you accomplish whatever you have in your mind going on. You can do full-time school or work. You can do part-time. If that seems like too much, consider volunteer work. It is very important. Challenge your negative thought in your fight against depression. A lot of work is mental. It changes how you think. When you are depressed, trust me, you live. You can trust. I have to say this. When you are depressed, you live towards possible conclusion. Use logical as a natural depression treatment when you are feeling terrible about yourself. Another way to naturally treat depression is doing something new. And that is how you challenge negative thought. You also want to do something new every time you see anything going on in your mind. The last one I want to mention is you want to go to a museum, you want to take a book and read, you want to volunteer and do so many things that will take all this depression out of your mind. Today, I'm sure you enjoy this show. Trust me, there's no other better way to heal yourself naturally from depression without medication. Once you get into this thing, it is very, very difficult to get out of it, believe it or not. That's all we have for you on the show today. Until next week, I leave you with this. What can defile our body and spirit? What are those things that can defile our body and our spirit? These are immorality, bad thought, and more. You find it in 2 Corinthians 7:1. So also, certain attitude, mindset, and a thought of, I'm so glad no one can hear that, can defile our spirit. When it comes to making healthy food choices, consider both your physical, mental, and spiritual health. I wish you all safe and good health. Please don't forget to share this show. Some people are out there waiting to have it, to heal themselves. You want to do them a favor and share with them. You never know who you're going to help, you're going to heal. That is why it is important you share this show. So I will encourage you to share with your friends and family. Until next week, we come back. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you as usual on Healthy Living with Bofa show. I'm still your host, Betsy Olayinka Folarin Akinlosotu, aka Bofa, coming to you, advocating on wellness.